I know just when to face the truth, and then I know just when to dream. And I know just where to touch you, and I know just what to prove. I know.
Good night, people. It is a Real Talk Live, right? So you'll know, happy Friday. I know it's rainy, right? I hope everyone's staying dry and safe, right? Because we know it's the rainy season. We have to we have dry and we have the wet. Yes, so I hope that you all are, trying your best as possible to stay dry, stay safe. Don't drive into the flood waters. Don't walk through it. Don't play in it. Don't try to swim through it. Okay, we staying safe. All right, and we're talking about All Saints and All Souls tonight. So if it is now joining us, and you ever celebrate the All Saints or All Souls, let us know, what you know about it. If you've ever observed those 2 days, and just let us know. Let us know if you didn't and what was the reason for not observing it, right? So we have with us on the inside Sonali. So as we say Sonali, we have BCG subs coming up. So Sonali, give them a rundown of the subs that is next Friday.
Well, for the subs, we're exactly a week away from the subs. We'll be getting a turkey hero cold cut sub sandwich full of veggies, pickles, onions, tomatoes, the heavy loaded. Then you'll have grilled chicken breasts, sub sandwiches, and it's real chicken, people. We're not dealing with any fake or imported chicken, real local chicken. And then we have the ham and cheese and tomato sub sandwich. It's just gonna be amazing. So y'all, it still have time. Place your order. Don't miss out, really and truly.
Nice. So you all heard that. Don't miss out. As I said, don't feel bad. Don't have any shame in the game. You can order all 3 subs. Right? Just order all 3 subs. You want to know how each one tastes, and just don't feel no how. Buy all 3 subs. If it is you want to share it with somebody, just cut it down in half. And everybody get a taste. Right? Long time when it is, however big, everybody cut it down in the quarters. However, I need to cut it so that everybody gets a piece. However it's working for you, let it work. Right? You don't need to know. We wouldn't judge you. If you buy 3, if it's for you alone, it's for you alone. If it is a sharing, you share it.
It's no shame in the game. It have lunch, dinner, and supper. No shame in the game.
Yeah. So however you feel to do it, you just do it. Yeah, so people, All Saints, All Souls, it's that week. Last time we did trick or treat, so now we're dealing with some other serious matters. So now, do you ever observe All Saints or All Souls?
But I observe the both. Now, my mother's family are Catholics, devout Catholics. So I observe both All Saints and All Souls.
Right. So you let us know, because when I was growing up, I just only used to hear about it, or I can't remember which one used to go and light the candles by the grave. Which one is that?
That's both of them actually, but you normally light the candles on All Saints in commemoration. That is on the 1st of November, always the day after All Hallows Eve. Just a minute, sorry.
Alright, so your Sonali will be back to explain this rundown of the All Saints and the All Souls, because I'm letting you know I've never observed it, right? I've heard of it, I've seen persons going to their loved ones, gravesides, lighting the candles, some may, leave some flowers, and so it's just that everybody, grew up in a different environment and have different experiences. So Sonali is back.
I'm back. Yes, sorry about that, everyone. So like I was saying, All Saints is celebrated on the 1st of November, always. That day is terms of commemoration for Catholics, you celebrate all saints that were known or unknown on that day specifically. So you always give a commemoration towards them. And then for All Souls, which is celebrated on the 2nd of November, that is in commemoration of all dearly departed souls under the Catholic faith, any Christian faith, I should say, really and truly. Once it's a devout Christian and so forth, they are celebrated All Souls on that day, that you'll make sure and have their grave sites cleaned. You commemorate it with food on that day. Normally it is known as the Day of the Dead in Mexico. So you will always have it lit, because what you will have on that day is a very dark night. The souls will come back to the gravesite to see those who come to visit, And in Mexico, what they do, they offer food. They leave food for them to take back to the land of the dead. But here in Trinidad, we just clean the gravesite, light the candles, and most importantly is say a prayer on their behalf, to commemorate the souls that they rest in peace eternally.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a big thing, but the most important thing is that it's for devout Catholics. I should say they take it very seriously, because the graves go all the way back to as far as those you can remember. So if it is where their grave, their resting place is, each person isn't missed. You go for all.
So the thing nice, So I realized it have all kind of celebrations. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know they want all month up. So we want to, so that Chica J there were down by Tropical Plaza. Yeah, so we just want to big up the people and the survivors of this thing called cancer, because a lot of persons have passed because of this deadly disease.
Yeah.
So we just want to touch base on that. So we have a video here about the All Saints and All Souls, because it has been so engraved in our culture that some people didn't even know it was a Catholic thing. Some people it's Pentecostal. They take time out to do the cleaning of the grave, because grass growing on it all year. And they just clean up, and some people might not take it as a religious act, more as a time to remember and clean up the place, because rain falling, they clean up the tombstone, that kind of thing. So you have a little vibration here. Chica, has gone clean grave yet?
No, I have never done that.
All right, so let me take it in here. Let me take it in a little bit and see. Where's it?
All Souls Day is a holiday of the Catholic Church that celebrates the faithful departed. In Catholic belief, the faithful who have died in God's grace, but in a state of attachment to sin, must be cleansed before they can enter into heaven. These souls are in purgatory, and they are washed clean by the prayers of the faithful on earth. All Souls Day is celebrated in the Western world on November 2nd, and it is a day of prayer for all those who have departed. It should not be confused with All Saints' Day on November 1st, where Catholics honor those who are believed to be in heaven. All those who enter purgatory will eventually enter heaven once their souls are perfected. Prayers for the dead dates back to Jewish tradition as described in the Old Testament. In the second book of Maccabees, a day of prayer for the dead was set aside. All Souls Day was established as an annual tradition in the medieval church, and it has been celebrated ever since. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, there are several such days, mostly celebrated on Saturdays throughout the year. Protestants are generally opposed to such celebrations on theological grounds. It in fact was the debate over the souls of the departed that started Martin Luther's heresy and led to his omission of all references to prayers for the dead from his Protestant translation of the Bible. This is why there are fewer books in the Protestant Bible than the Catholic. In some parts of the world, such as Latin America, All Souls Day is celebrated on this day. All Souls Day is important because we dedicate that day to our loved ones and our ancestors to pray for their departed souls. By our efforts, those in purgatory reach heaven, and by the efforts of our descendants, we too will arrive.
Well, see how it is celebrated. The only thing is, I wasn't taught that the souls were in purgatory. They were already ascended into heaven. So,
Yeah. And I mean, when they do it the first time, like maybe it depends. Because I mean, if it is persons wait till, the whole year pass to come around, and so people may question it, and then they do it the next year, every year continue doing it. Then people may question, okay, so the first time I did it, so they already in that transition, then they reach already, so why go back, Yeah. So people may question that.
but it's true. Then a lot of people do question it as to why each and every year, because if it is you're supposed to be a faithful Christian or a faithful Catholic, you're supposed to already ascend into heaven. But under Catholicism, you actually die and go into purgatory first, and dependent on your good deeds, pay your way into heaven, and all those sort of stuff. The faster and the better you do those things, the faster you enter into heaven. So that's, I believe, the reason why strict Catholics, most people move away from strict Catholics and they just go with the modern day teaching, I should say, because Catholics now are not as how it used to be a long time, or even from my grandmother's time. So a lot of the teaching are no longer brought forward or taught, or is changed to adapt to this timing now. So
yeah, some persons are really not upholding the traditions.
Yeah, they don't. Some of the traditions now, even when you go to mass, is not the same anymore. So a lot of stuff has changed now. But the first time I did it, I must have been about maybe 3 or 4. The first time when my mother and my grandmother carried me, I was around that age, and I just liked it because it was of the pretty lights, getting to play with the candles, the wax, and that freedom to move among the graves and read the years and the history and the names of strangers. People.
Well, that's when you're older, you wasn't reading the when you're 3 or 4.
At 3-4, I was reading it. I could have recognized numbers. So, but
you recognize the numbers,
properly and pronounce the names. And
I must tell people with balls of wax, candle wax.
Yeah, I used to
wax, make a ball and tell people with it.
Well, to me, I used to melt it all over my hands and encase my hands, and you collect your lips for that, because you're not supposed to interfere with the people's candles. But other than that, that's what I used to love to do. And you could have walked through the graveyard at that time. Everybody there, nobody is interfering with a small child, or especially a little girl or little children moving among the graves just reading. But you make sure and you find your way back to your family in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to really love it back then. Now it's different. It's really different. I will still keep up the tradition because my mom has passed, my grandmother, my great grandmother, also other aunts and stuff, So I would keep up that tradition. But now it's not, it doesn't hold the same appeal as before, where you would wait until when it's dark to go to light. Now it's like just go quickly clean, light your candles and get out before the place gets even dark. So
Fika, what is your view on the video? You see what's interesting about our Trinbagonian vibration is that people of Catholic persuasion as well, and even Pentecostal, don't even speak about purgatory. In certain faiths, it's either you make an exception and it's either heaven or hell. But in the faith, you can still pray for a soul that may not have been the best person, but they still have a chance even after death. Very interesting. Big up on the Melanie inside, man. Andy, what is your views on All Saints and All Souls? Yeah? You know what you think, right? Imagine.
And well, I mean,
yeah.
The other thing is, well, we see, of course, it's mainly the Catholic faith, but we see that in other parts of the world, they may not call it All Saints, All Souls, but they do, send prayers and, I don't know if to use reverence, but they do pray for their ancestors, because that was a word that was used within the video, ancestors, even and well, that's all Latin America. We know, of course, the Chinese, they definitely observe and make reverence to their ancestors. They definitely do, right? And I mean, we know that the Catholic Bible has more books than the King James Version, actually. I don't know. It was meant.
It would be the Protestant Bible. It would be the Protestant Bible will have Maccabees. These were people. The Protestant Bible would have Maccabees. The King James Version was canonized by the Catholic faith. So all the Bibles that Pentecostals and Catholics use is really the King James Version. Where the book of Maccabees, that was from the Protestant Bible. That's why I see Latin America celebrating the death, where they the cardinals decided that celebration of the dead wasn't really too holy, nah. You know what I mean? It was walking a thin line, so they rather put it as persons who in purgatory, you could now pray for their souls to be released into heaven. So that was the play on the vibration. And now we have Halloween that has a whole different spin on this scenario, So,
and then some people put all together.
Yeah, some people put all together. But really, in the book of Maccabees is where they were able to derive that praying for souls who have passed. So it's totally different to what we know, even when from the Pentecostal faith, because we know in purgatory is a place between worlds. That's what they believe, between heaven and hell, and you're waiting on persons to cleanse the soul. Think about the difference in the belief structure. So that day, what ain't really for the dead, technically, that day is literally for people to pray, to assist their loved ones who are in purgatory to make it. So it come like
you imagine people who don't uphold that and they are waiting, hoping.
Hoping
that somebody will remember them and
And that's the funny thing about it, because in Mexico, when that happens, what they say, if your family don't uphold the Day of the Dead or even self, you don't have any family members, you are in purgatory for so long. After a while, you're forgotten. And and they say you're in constant torment and you slowly fade away. You don't either go to hell, you don't even go to heaven, you just completely stop existing. and they believe in that. That's why they are so insistent on passing on traditions, passing on stories. They really don't mess with it at all.
Yeah, so imagine for those who have very huge families.
Yeah,
they have a lot.
Yeah,
of people
a lot of people to pray for and to uphold the tradition.
Yes.
So, but to me, I rather, if it is you have the bigger families and so forth, no problem. As the ones who hardly have family, or the majority of their family die out, I would say for those of us who are like Catholics, who are born into the Catholic faith and so forth, that's who we really feel sorry for. The bigger the family is no problem, but the smaller the family and the less members, that's who you really feel sorry for.
Yeah.
And that's just the sad thing about it.
Yeah. I mean, so persons who are joining in on the live, what are really your thoughts on All Souls? Because that's when they really say any prayer, right? All Souls. Right. That is, I mean, it's really based on someone's belief system. And some people do it and they don't even know why they are doing it.
They just repeat tradition. It's just because they saw the mom did it, the dad did it, the nene or auntie did it. They are just repeating and say, well, because them used to do it, that's why I doing it too. But most people don't really understand what is the reason of why we do it. And the one thing you will hear from people now is like, that's old time thing. If you really stop to understand, it's part of our tradition.
Well, I think Trinidadian tradition and Caribbean tradition has our rooted origin from a lot of Catholic faith or Christmas, Easter. I don't think we really understand the things we say in tradition, not really tradition. It's really things that certain religious bodies,
the majority of the colonizers brought.
And we have now
adopted
into what we call tradition. I know that sometimes it doesn't matter. I would say the origin of certain religious practices is maybe what you do with it. So if it is on that particular day, you're going and clean, grandfather grave, you're going and, I don't see why certain people should be in all about this a Catholic thing or a Protestant thing or an Anglican thing or, we tend to kind of overwhelm each other with the religiosity of the thing as opposed to what could be done good at this particular hour, like Christmas time. You'll have all the people say what they want to say, but you can still do something good with family, with people in need at that particular point in time. Take that time to really put that positive energy.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to always look for the negative. It have some people always looking for the negative. No matter what you do, right. They're finding the negative. They're finding something evil about it. Instead of looking for something good, they focus on something evil. At time when families coming together and going and feeding people, maybe they just do that at Christmas time. Right? And they find all the wrong things to talk about as opposed to, the good things that happen. All Saints, All Souls. It had a lot of fun times as a youth, as I say, pelting people with camphor ball, pelting people with a candle wax, making big balls with the candle wax. Playing tricks on people, hiding behind a dark grave and making a noise. All of this in the comment section, follow us the streamers like that. It always have the darkest part of the cemetery. Like right down in the corner, sorry. That was me in the back there. Yeah, this is it.
Hmm. Well, Andy is saying my view on All Souls and All Saints Day is just a waste of time. I believe in praying for someone when they are alive, not when they are dead. So that is Andy's view. He believes we should pray for when persons are alive rather when they are past and gone.
But you see, nothing is wrong with that, you know. Honestly and truly, yes, you pray for those who are alive, you know, that they find a better peace within the life that they live in at that moment, because none of us here know exactly what death is or what it have after that, and so, you know. But nothing is absolutely wrong with that, Andy, and everybody have their own point of view, because there are a lot of people who, you know, say I'm not going and go by no grave to go and light no candle or clean or corporation to clean that, you know. It have people who have their own views, and some people who just don't take it on. They stay home in the house, they observe it maybe and say, you know what, they buy 2-3 candles and they put it by the doorstep or a walkway or something, you know, and say, here, well, this is in commemoration, because at the end of the day, they have family members who have passed, and they will say for all their family members, they light it and they go about the day, you know.
Yeah.
So
And what I heard some years ago, so Andy mentioned, you know, it's a waste of time. So what I heard some persons mention is that they use that day, well, of course, the market in terms of people actually literally buy all the candles. So the candle sales go up, right? So some persons actually may say they don't have the money to uphold, to purchase the candles, you know, and all these different things. Now, the thing is, yes, and it is important, you know, you'll want to pray for persons when they are alive, of course. Yes, and some persons, what they may do, they may not even wait for All Saints or All Souls to pray for the person who has passed on. They may do it maybe on the persons the day that they either were buried, the day that they actually passed. Some persons may do it even when it's that person's, you know, birthday comes around. You know, people do different things. And I think it's whatever it is, maybe works for whoever. You do whatever suits you. And sometimes what will happen is when it is somebody really close, because it has people, you will know if somebody is really close to them, because after a while, the memory of that person may fade. Sometimes it's like the person may have, you know, never existed. Right? So what some persons may do, they do things in commemoration or, you know, in remembrance of, you know, or they may create a foundation or whatever just to remember the person, because most times the person would have done some good in the individual's life or other persons around, you know, in the community and that sort of thing. So I believe, because, and then what we have to remember too, if it wasn't for our parents, our grandparents, our great, I mean, we wouldn't be here, you know. And I think that's one of the reasons too, in some cultures, in some religions, that they pay homage, you know, they show that respect for their parents, as some people may say, or for their ancestors. Because if it wasn't for them, you really wouldn't be here today. In that, you know, in that sense. If it wasn't, it have some things that some persons are now, they are privileged to have because of their great, you know, whoever came before them. So I think that is really why some persons, you know, really ensure that they maintain those practices of the All Saints, All Souls, or whatever it is they may, you know, uphold. Maybe it is the person, they always do something every year and it would not have been on that day, and somebody just pick up the mantle and continue it.
Correct. And you know, sometimes it might be very uncomfortable for a person. But if we really go to really think about the amount of persons that had to live for us to, and we have to reach a stage in our existence. It's a different kind of lifestyle, different. We have to reach a stage in our existence that we really have to be mindful of the amount of persons that literally had to live for us to live, that have passed and gone. And we have this type of attitude where who done that already and me going through that and this kind of attitude. But if those persons who passed did not come here, we would not have had the opportunity to experience life. And even if it's a day or a week or a part of the month that you take to pay respect to the persons who live, share their DNA, and caused us to be here and died. And I think we need to check ourselves as human beings. We know that if those persons didn't come here, we ain't so special. They needed to come and they needed to die to make room for us and our generations and family members. And we really, irregardless of what they don't have to be all saints also, it don't have to be, but we really disrespectful and arrogant to think that just because they died, I wasted our time to remember them when it's their DNA that have me here. And we might say great, but it's far beyond just two greats. We might say great grandmother, great grandfather, and then we might say great. But it goes further back than just great. Our DNA
So of course we
strain.
know this.
It needed about 100,000 people for you to be here. We just thinking along the lines of our social parameters in great and great grand and grandmother and grandfather. But think about who needed to live for great grandmother and father to step into this frame that now led the way for the 7th, 8th grade for us to be here. So we really need to at least pay that respect at some point. This somehow we kind of excuse it. Yeah? So I didn't know if you heard Sonali, but we really need, whenever you're looking at this life, right? Let us not forget. Because we tend to only remember if daddy died or mommy died now, or if granny died or grandpa died. But anything after that, it's like we have a disconnect.
Nah, no.
Yeah. Think about it. You ever hear anybody have a picture of the great grandmother? Anybody knows on this live? Anybody knows in this live the name of the great grandfather? You telling me now? I'm telling you, yeah.
Unfortunately, no. All I know is that their family is still in Grenada. That's all I know. I know from my great grandmother, they're still in Portugal.
From the moment you reach grandma, grandpa, and great grandma, grandpa, if
I
so
know great. I know great.
But nobody can should we can, I mean, do you know the name? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
the your great.
The only way that we will know is if it is the names so passed down and be
and why
told it there. But unfortunately,
that is the issue I'm having. That is the issue I'm having right now. I asked mommy, I said, mommy, where's great great grandfather picture? Where's great 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 grandmother picture?
And the reality is, I'm just speaking from, some sort of experience, little that I have, is that some persons back then, but in terms of pictures, I know you mentioned the pictures, it have some persons did not even have access to or the opportunity to even take pictures, and then it had the people who didn't like to take pictures.
In our bloodline, let me tell you, it had people in China couldn't buy rice, and they made sure that either the name was spoken or written. We like to make excuses for the failures of our own society.
They will ensure that their identity is passed on.
Yeah, it didn't have to do with this. You see, we like to create an excuse. It had people in China had one slipper and living under a hut, and they made sure that the name was etched somewhere on a piece of board, on a piece of stone, and then they would have light to incense where they could afford. We greatly see. Listen, my grandfather didn't see poverty like the way China see poverty, and I'm a grandfather. Right? My grandmother didn't see that kind of poverty. It was ingrained in the society that we remember. If they had to write it in a clay tablet, and then whoever had money, write it on stone, and whoever had money, write. And I saw tablets in China of the dynasty going all the way, so that at least they know the name. And you know what they used to do to save the name? They used to name the firstborn son after the great 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 grandfather, and then the daughter, they name it after the great grandmother. So even if the tablet break or it lost, they would know that you, Ying Ping, was named after your great 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 grandfather, just to protect the name. What we name we children Larry. Sam. Think about it. Because in Sansa time, you might lose a picture, you might lose an album, you might lose something. It happens, regardless of how affluent the family was or not. But if you name the babies, after them, in remembrance to keep them alive, and 10 generations after, you will know who great 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 grandfather and grandmother was. Because we, as a society, our people don't see the need. We will name we child after Lexus, Lexi. You see how mad we is? Right?
My grandfather actually named one of my aunties after his great grandmother.
What I'm saying is that it's not etched in our tradition. Our people. It's not. So it's easy to say there are no album. We make up excuses along the way for them. And we're not saying from this day forward if we have to find it. And we don't even go to find it. No, we're working with our money. And still we don't even go as far as to try to find the name of our great, 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 or great.
True.
So when these timings come, we just only go as far as grandfather, grandmother, mother, father, and great. And that is something that we need to address, because at the end of the day, when 80 more years pass or 60 more years, we're going to understand we're young, so, you know? Right? And we would have liked that we could have passed this on even to anybody. Because let's say open a little foundation, Chica, you would want to name people, and that's what they just do. They would name a foundation, something they're doing well, after the name of great, 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 and that would carry on even further than a picture or a name.
True.
Oh Lord, boy, I get big deal. Andy, you're planning to Andy, the
Hey.
So if you don't join us, we're talking about All Saints, All Souls, and not from a religious lens. We're talking about it from what positive could we do around this time to remember our ancestors, you know, and what could we do moving forward to you know, pay homage to them, because it's because of them we are here. Right? It's because of them feeling nice and on a night or a day. Run away, jump the fence, however it is happened.
Or
Some of us did, I
that's not
mean,
feeling nice.
yeah, I mean, some
You're
of
right.
us didn't come here under the tradition and no marriage, you know. I didn't reach here because of that. So if my mom and my dad didn't decide there wasn't having that kind of hanky panky outside of the ordinance of marriage, I would have never be here. Big up all the black swans out there. They go, it's a plenty of we want to be in the dance if mommy and daddy.
Exactly. I know how you feel. Sir.
Yeah, I tell you, I would have been the show. All also, I already. Big up all the black swans already. Big up all the illegitimate children already. Love. There we go. So before we go, all I want to reiterate, I know these subs is here. I get that sub. Chica. Andy, we say what next one?
And they ain't taking that train up.
Stay
I
from
want that
home,
too.
Andy. Don't be shaming or don't study.
I want that too, you know, boy. But you know what I want to do, boy? I want that too. I might buy one and give it to somebody in need now. I do a little, you know, I don't know, I might feel that way. Yeah, you don't need to treat buy two for yourself and give one to somebody who maybe didn't have lunch that day or they couldn't afford it. Things rough, you know. Things not as good as we think. People still struggling, you know.
Do
I
that.
could donate it that way. And you could do a donation, boy. We could do some donation to Coach Shamrock, Chica, what you think? You know, let me see how things go. We could do a little donation to Coach Shamrock, send some for who is having Coach Shamrock Day.
Plenty people.
I know that. The figure a day, so I can't do the whole Coach Shamrock. And I feel that way then. I feel that way then do a donation to Coach Shamrock, boy. I don't know if I will get a discount. Look the subs here. So I'm thinking about doing a donation. Well, you know, we had to give Hakim David because you know that is my boy. About how much sub go be that boy? I might do what to do it, boy? I might donate a 4 sub. I can't have my Hakim can't reach it. So that Hakim David 1, 2. And she can go decide because I know we have some good customers at Port Shamrock under the top up. And remember to top up with Bertie, might I add, because I know, you know, we have 2 persons who purchase frequently from Port Shamrock. So we might do a Thanksgiving with a and they go tell me. Yay!
Andy, can we turn up for you? That's okay, Andy. We appreciate. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Well, I Hakim David. Who is the other 2 ladies and who does support
I
me
am
online?
not calling anybody's name on the live.
Okay, well. Like, so I'm a boys, I can hail out Hakim and David. Big up Hakim and David, man. Much love. Yeah? So, yeah. I want to see if I get a discount. With this, all this summer I have to buy, you know, I find myself in trouble. And you want 3, I take 2. And that going to be 4. That means like 6. Where's my package deal for 6 Tenali and Chica? Where's my package deal for 6?
It had no package deal when you buy in here. I didn't know it had we'll have to work that out.
And you see all these ladies at work?
You still have time. We'll figure out something.
What will be more cost? I don't pay for 2 already, Chica.
Yes.
I pay for 2 already. So I look for 4. How much is 4 some?
Is which one?
But it's which one?
Well, man, turkey and chicken, like 4, 2 by 2.
No, because if it is a do the ham is at a lower price.
I don't know if everybody eating ham. I'm going to do 2 ham.
But one thing for sure, everybody just eat chicken.
2 ham and 2 chicken. We go discuss that.
Or you just find out what it is.
I just find out. You want to find out? I don't think you're not eating anything.
Last we just find out.
If you one to someone, and they
no, I'm not asking man eating anything. So Chica will find out from the other 2 persons what they would like, and that would be my Christmas gift. The persons of,
Right. Well, Andy, if it is you're collecting all 3 or you're donating it, you'll let Shamika know exactly how you want to do
I will just put it accordingly. Yeah, I will just list it accordingly. What dropping away.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you now joining us, we're talking about this in the background here. We're talking about our sub sale Triple S on November 4th. Yeah? And it's no fake meat in this thing.
We only do
right? It's no fake meat, it's no fake turkey, it's no fake chicken breast. Real thing. Yeah? Anything else before we go? Anything else we add on? Chica, anything else?
No, top up, sub. Be good for now. When the 1st of January reach, we'll be talking about the bus ride.
Oh Lord.
And then, well, the next on the agenda, when that time comes, we will really sit.
Yeah. So people, it was nice. It was a different vibes, different vibration.
Yes, and
I remember it's different. It's good to get that kind of vibe. It might be the bacchanal wildness, but at the end of the day, we have to pay homage to the persons who granted us this beautiful DNA we have. We have good genes. Good genes. Tika, Sonali, good genes. So the people who pass those good genes to us, we have to pay homage to them because we don't get to pick our parents now, do we? Yeah? Tika, we don't get to pick with parents, no so?
Well, of course we don't.
Yeah, so we give thanks to the beautiful genes we have. Yeah? So it was nice, taking this vibration before we roll out. And you will have to hear this tune, boy. Yeah, we don't. We really don't pick with parents, for real. So on your wave now.
Have a good night. Continue to be safe, everyone.
They need that stuff for your boy. They need that stuff in their life. Don't put them ladies backstage, No, they think that this is your boy. I know they go out with this vibration, All they know is the subtime. And if you guys are interested in placing your orders for our Triple S sale, which is the sub sandwich on November 4th, at the bottom of the screen, WhatsApp us at 346-8730. Why? Don't wait in vain. Don't you know it? All you don't wait in vain for the sub, Don't wait in vain for that sub sandwich. Place your order so you won't be waiting in vain. Big up Kavir on the inside, Kavir late boy. We just start at 7, so next time remember 7 on our Friday. So we out. You could always tell Miss James if you're interested in purchasing a song. November 4th. So it was nice, people. Remember, it's your boy, Lions Den tomorrow, as we progress and regress. Yes, remember to top up with Burn Team on each and every Friday. Any purchase of $100 or more, you get $10 free credit.
I can see what you're going through. Yeah.
Remember to like and share. And it's your boy. If that sweet that come to make things sweet with the some language, or you know how the thing go. We go on, never come out of this place. You know. See you later tomorrow. Yeah?